The first thing the universe heard was not a roar. It was a heartbeat. Deep beneath the frozen mountains of the forgotten planet Vera 9, something that had been silent for 1,000 years opened its eyes. Ancient stone cracked. Layers of dust fell from a body larger than a starship. And inside a hidden chamber that no living creature had entered for centuries, a monster from the oldest legends took its first breath again. For generations, the people of Vera 9 believed the stories were nothing more than myths. They were wrong. The ancient beast was awake. Above the surface, a human exploration team moved through the endless white valleys of Vera 9. The planet had once been home to a powerful alien civilization, but that civilization disappeared without explanation. All that remained were giant ruins, broken machines, and warnings carved into black stone. The human crew had come to study those ruins. They did not know they had come to wake something that was never meant to return. Captain Ethan Cole stood at the edge of a massive canyon, looking down at the strange symbols covering the walls below. His team's scanners were showing impossible readings. "Captain, you need to see this," said Dr. Lena Voss, the team's xenobiologist. Ethan turned around. "What did you find?" She held up her tablet, her face filled with confusion. "The energy readings under the ground are increasing." "How much?" She hesitated. "Enough to power a city." The team became silent. There was no city on Vera 9. The planet had been abandoned for 1,000 years. Ethan looked toward the mountains in the distance. "Something is down there." The team followed the signal into a hidden underground tunnel that had been sealed since ancient times. The walls were covered with carvings showing a giant creature standing beside alien warriors. But the strange part was not the creature's size. It was the way the aliens looked at it. Not with fear. With respect. As the humans walked deeper into the tunnel, their lights revealed a massive door made from an unknown metal. At the center of the door was a symbol that matched the markings found on the ancient ruins. Dr. Lena touched the surface of the door. The entire mountain shook. A low vibration moved through the ground. Then came the sound. A slow, powerful heartbeat. Everyone froze. "That's impossible," one of the soldiers whispered. Ethan stepped closer. The door began to open. Behind it was a chamber so large that their lights could not reach the other side. Something enormous rested inside, covered by thousands of years of dust and crystal-like material. Then 2 golden eyes opened in the darkness. The creature moved. The entire mountain trembled. The humans raised their weapons, but Ethan noticed something strange. The beast was not attacking. It was looking at them. More specifically, it was looking at him. The creature slowly lowered its massive head until its face was closer to the humans. Its body was covered in ancient armor-like scales, and glowing marks moved across its skin like living stars. Dr. Lena scanned it. Her hands started shaking. "Captain, this creature is older than any life form we have ever discovered." Ethan stared at the beast. "Then why is it awake now?" Before anyone could answer, the creature moved closer. The soldiers prepared for the worst. But instead of attacking, the ancient beast lowered its head and touched Ethan's hand with the tip of its enormous claw. A strange energy passed between them. And suddenly, Ethan saw images. A forgotten war. A dying civilization. A promise made thousands of years ago. The beast had not been sleeping. It had been waiting. Waiting for someone worthy to return. The vision disappeared, and Ethan fell to his knees. The creature stood behind him like a guardian. For 1,000 years, it had protected a secret buried beneath the planet. Now it had chosen a human. And when the humans left the underground chamber, the ancient beast followed them. Not as a prisoner. Not as a weapon. But as something no one in the galaxy had ever expected. A companion. And the universe was about to learn what happened when humanity earned the loyalty of a creature that even ancient civilizations feared. The galaxy had many names for monsters. Some called them nightmares. Some called them destroyers. Some called them the end of worlds. But no one had ever called one of them a friend. That changed the moment the ancient beast stepped out of the mountain. The human exploration team moved carefully across the frozen surface of Vera 9. Behind them walked a creature that had been asleep for 1,000 years. Its massive footsteps created small earthquakes with every movement, and its glowing eyes watched the strange world around it. The soldiers were nervous. The scientists were fascinated. But Ethan Cole felt something different. He felt trust. The connection he had experienced inside the ancient chamber was still clear in his mind. The beast had shown him memories of a forgotten age. It had protected a civilization that disappeared long before humans reached the stars. And now, for reasons Ethan did not understand, it had chosen him. "Captain," one of the soldiers said quietly, "are we really bringing that thing back to the ship?" Ethan looked at the enormous creature standing behind them. "That thing has a name." Everyone looked surprised. "You know its name?" Dr. Lena asked. Ethan shook his head slowly. "No. But I know it's not a monster." The team continued toward their landing site. The beast followed without resistance, moving carefully so it would not damage the equipment or harm the humans around it. It was strange. A creature powerful enough to destroy cities was walking gently beside a group of tiny beings it had just met. When they reached the ship, the crew faced their biggest problem. The beast was too large. The exploration vessel was designed for humans, not ancient giants. The engineers scanned the creature and discovered something impossible. The beast was changing. Its body began releasing small waves of energy, and the glowing symbols on its scales shifted. Slowly, the creature reduced its size. Not completely. It was still larger than any animal on Earth. But now it could enter the ship's massive cargo area. Everyone watched in disbelief. Dr. Lena looked at the readings again and again. "It's adapting." Ethan looked at the creature. "It understands us." The journey back to the human colony was supposed to take 3 days. But on the second day, they received a warning signal. An unknown fleet had entered the Vera system. The ship's sensors identified them immediately. The Car Dominion, a powerful alien empire known for collecting rare creatures and ancient technology. They had been searching the galaxy for thousands of years, hunting anything they considered valuable. And now they had detected the energy released from the ancient beast. The communication screen activated. A tall alien commander appeared. "Human vessel," the alien said. "You have discovered something that belongs to the Car Dominion." Ethan stepped forward. It was buried on an abandoned planet. The alien commander smiled. "Everything ancient belongs to those strong enough to claim it." The message ended. The crew understood what was coming. The Car were not asking. They were coming to take the beast. Weapons systems activated across the human ship. But Ethan noticed something. The ancient creature was standing beside him, watching the enemy ships approaching. It did not look afraid. It looked angry. For 1,000 years, this beast had slept beneath the mountains of Vera 9. It had survived the fall of an entire civilization. It had waited for someone worthy of its trust. And now another empire wanted to turn it into a weapon. The beast released a deep sound that shook the entire ship. Not a roar of rage. A warning. The humans had no idea what this creature was truly capable of. But the Car Dominion was about to find out. Because they believed they were hunting a beast. They did not realize they were challenging the guardian of an ancient age. The Car Dominion fleet surrounded the human exploration ship like a wall of metal and fire. Hundreds of alien warships moved through the darkness of space, their weapons locked onto the small human vessel. To them, this was not a battle. It was a simple capture mission. They had hunted rare creatures across the galaxy for centuries. They had collected ancient weapons, forgotten technologies, and powerful beings from lost worlds. And now they believed they had found their greatest prize. The ancient beast of Vera 9. Inside the human ship, alarms echoed through the corridors. The crew prepared for combat, but everyone knew the truth. Their ship was no match for the Car fleet. "Captain," the weapons officer said, "we cannot survive a direct attack." Ethan stared at the massive creature standing quietly in the cargo bay. The beast looked back at him. For a moment, everything became silent. Ethan remembered the vision from the ancient chamber. The destroyed cities. The endless war. The final moments of an alien civilization that trusted this creature with their last hope. The beast was not a weapon. It was a protector. "Can you understand me?" Ethan asked. The creature lowered its head. A strange sound came from deep within its chest. Then the glowing symbols on its body became brighter. Everyone watched as the creature's mind connected with the ship's systems. Images appeared on the screens. Ancient battles. Alien armies. Worlds protected by this enormous guardian. Dr. Lena stared in shock. It has been protecting civilizations for thousands of years. Ethan nodded. And now it's protecting us. Outside the ship, the car commander sent another message. "Human captain, surrender the creature immediately. Your species has no understanding of what you have found." Ethan looked at the screen. "You are right about one thing." The alien commander smiled. "You admit it." Ethan looked at the beast beside him. "We don't understand everything about it." He paused. "But we understand enough." The commander's smile disappeared. "It chose us." The communication ended. Seconds later, the car fleet opened fire. Thousands of energy weapons crossed the darkness. The human ship prepared for impact. But the attack never arrived. A massive wave of energy exploded from the ancient beast. The entire space around the ship changed. The car weapons stopped in mid-flight. Not destroyed. Stopped. Frozen. The enemy fleet became completely silent. The humans watched in disbelief. The beast had created a shield around them that covered an entire section of space. The car commander could not believe what he was seeing. "That technology is impossible." Dr. Lena looked at her scanner. "It's not technology." She stared at the creature. "It's biology." The beast moved toward the front of the ship. Then it released a powerful roar. The sound traveled through space as a wave of energy. Across the car fleet, systems failed one by one. Weapons shut down. Engines stopped. Communication disappeared. The most powerful military force in the region had been defeated without a single human weapon being fired. But the beast did not attack. It simply waited. Ethan understood why. It was giving them a chance to leave. The car commander finally appeared again, his confidence gone. "What are you?" The beast looked at the alien fleet. Then Ethan heard a voice inside his mind. A voice older than any human language. "I am the last promise of a forgotten people." Ethan stepped forward. "He says he is not here to destroy you." The commander remained silent. "He is here to protect what remains." The car fleet slowly began retreating. For the first time in centuries, they had encountered something they could not control. Something they could not capture. Something that had chosen humanity. But the humans did not yet understand the biggest secret. The beast had not awakened because Ethan found it. Ethan found it because the beast knew a greater danger was coming. A threat that even ancient civilizations could not defeat. And now, humanity stood between the galaxy and a forgotten enemy returning from the darkness. The news spread across the galaxy faster than any human could have imagined. A 1,000-year-old creature had awakened on Vera 9. A human had gained its trust. And the impossible had happened. The strongest fleet in the galaxy had retreated without firing a second shot. For some civilizations, it was a miracle. For others, it was a warning. Because everyone who knew the old legends understood one thing. The ancient beast only awakened when something worse was coming. Back aboard the human exploration ship, Captain Ethan Cole studied the strange images the creature had shown him. The ancient memories still appeared in his mind like pieces of a forgotten dream. A massive enemy. Black ships covering entire planets. Civilizations falling one after another. And the beast standing alone against them. Dr. Lena entered the command room holding her tablet. "Captain, we found something." Ethan turned around. "What?" She placed the tablet on the table. On the screen was an ancient recording recovered from the beast's energy signals. The recording showed a group of alien leaders standing before the creature thousands of years ago. One of them spoke. "If the darkness returns, the Guardian must awaken." The recording ended. Ethan looked at Lena. "Darkness." She nodded. We think it was a name for an unknown enemy. Before they could continue, the ship suddenly shook. The lights flickered. The ancient beast immediately turned toward the window. For the first time since they found it, the creature looked afraid. Not angry. Not aggressive. Afraid. Everyone noticed. What is it sensing? Ethan asked. The beast walked toward the front of the ship and stared into the empty space ahead. Then the sensors detected something. A signal. A signal coming from beyond the edge of known space. The computer struggled to identify it. Unknown energy. Unknown technology. Unknown origin. Then the main screen changed. A massive object appeared in the distance. It was not a ship. It was something much larger. A structure that looked like a moving planet covered in black metal. The crew became silent. Dr. Lena whispered, "That thing is impossible." The ancient beast released a low growl. Ethan placed his hand on the creature's armored skin. "What is it?" The creature sent another vision. This time, Ethan saw the truth. The ancient civilization of Vera 9 had not disappeared because of war. They disappeared because they sacrificed themselves. They had used all their power to stop this enemy. The beast had survived only because it was placed into a 1,000-year sleep. Waiting for the enemy to return. The vision ended. Ethan looked at his crew. The creature knew this would happen. Everyone looked toward the approaching darkness. The massive structure continued moving closer. The humans had faced alien armies. They had explored unknown worlds. But nothing prepared them for this. A threat that had existed before human civilization even reached the stars. A threat that had defeated species far older and stronger than humanity. The communication system suddenly activated. A voice came through. Cold. Mechanical. Ancient. Guardian detected. Everyone froze. The voice continued. Human presence detected. A pause followed. Then the message changed. New protectors identified. The crew looked at Ethan. The voice was not speaking to the beast. It was speaking about humanity. The ancient enemy had noticed them. The creature moved beside Ethan, standing like a shield between the humans and the darkness. For 1,000 years, it had waited for this moment. But now it was no longer alone. Because the Guardian had found a new species willing to stand beside it. Humanity. And the galaxy was about to discover something the ancient civilizations never understood. The greatest strength of the Guardian was never its size. Never its power. It was the people it chose to protect. The black structure moved closer. Every second, it grew larger on the ship's sensors. The human crew watched in silence as the unknown enemy entered their system. It was a machine unlike anything they had ever seen. No engines. No visible weapons. No weaknesses. It simply moved through space like a living shadow. The ancient beast stood at the front of the ship, watching it approach. For the first time, humanity saw something they never expected. The creature that had frightened entire civilizations was not fearless. It was remembering. Ethan stepped closer. "You fought this thing before." The beast looked at him. A wave of images entered his mind. Thousands of years ago, the same enemy had arrived at Vera 9. The ancient civilization had built powerful weapons, created incredible technology, and united their entire world. But nothing worked. The enemy did not conquer planets. It erased them. Entire civilizations vanished without leaving a single survivor. The ancient people of Vera 9 knew they could not win. So they made one final decision. They placed their hope inside their greatest guardian. They sent the beast into a 1,000-year sleep, waiting for a future where someone else could continue the fight. That future had arrived. But Ethan understood something important. The beast was never meant to fight alone. He turned toward his crew. "We cannot let it face this enemy by itself." A soldier looked at him. "Captain, that thing destroyed civilizations older than ours." Ethan looked through the window at the approaching darkness. "Maybe, but we are not those civilizations." The crew became silent. Humanity was young compared to the ancient races of the galaxy. They had fewer ships. Less technology. Less experience. But humans had something many older species had forgotten. They refused to surrender. The human fleet was contacted immediately. When the message reached Earth's colonies, many commanders were afraid. They knew the danger. They knew the enemy was something beyond their understanding. But when they saw the ancient beast standing beside a human captain, they made their choice. Human ships began arriving. One by one. Then hundreds. Small ships. Large ships. Military vessels. Exploration ships. They were nothing compared to the enemy's massive structure. But they came anyway. Dr. Lena watched the fleet gather. They know they might not survive. Ethan nodded. Humans have always known that. The enemy finally reacted. The black structure opened. Inside was a weapon larger than any human station. Energy began gathering. The sensors screamed warnings. The first attack was coming. The ancient beast stepped forward. Its body began glowing brighter than ever before. The creature was preparing to fight. But Ethan placed his hand against its armor. Wait. The beast looked back. Ethan smiled. You protected others for 1,000 years. He looked at the human fleet behind them. Now let us protect you. For a moment, the ancient guardian remained still. Then something incredible happened. The creature lowered its head. It accepted. Across the galaxy, ancient records began activating. Forgotten civilizations received the same message. The guardian had awakened. But this time, it was not alone. A new species had joined the fight. A species that was young, unpredictable, and impossible to break. Humans. The enemy fired. A wave of darkness rushed toward the human fleet. Thousands of ships prepared for impact. Then the ancient beast released its power. The humans fired with it. Energy from 1,000 human weapons combined with the strength of a creature older than history itself. The darkness collided with humanity's determination. Space itself shook. And for the first time in 1,000 years, the ancient enemy was pushed back. But the battle had only begun. Because the humans had not yet discovered the final secret hidden inside their new ally. The ancient beast was not just the guardian of a lost civilization. It was the key to defeating the enemy forever. The battle between humanity and the ancient enemy shook the entire galaxy. For hours, the darkness moved forward like an unstoppable storm. The enemy's massive structure released wave after wave of energy, destroying everything in its path. But humanity refused to move. The human fleet stayed together. They were smaller. They were weaker. But they stood beside the ancient guardian. And that was something the enemy had never faced before. Inside the command ship, Ethan watched the battle unfold. We cannot keep this up forever, one officer said. The truth was obvious. Human ships were losing power. Their weapons were failing. Their defenses were breaking. Even the ancient beast was becoming weaker. The creature had spent thousands of years waiting for this moment. But even it had limits. Dr. Lena studied the energy readings. Captain, the beast is using everything it has. Ethan looked toward the creature. The guardian stood outside the ship, surrounded by glowing energy. Its massive body protected the human fleet from the enemy's attacks. But it was slowly fading. Ethan closed his eyes. The creature had spent 1,000 years alone. It had protected a civilization that no longer existed. And now it was willing to sacrifice itself for humanity. A species it had only known for a short time. No, Ethan said quietly. Everyone looked at him. We are not letting it die. Ethan walked toward the communication system. He sent a message to every human ship. Listen carefully. This creature chose to stand with us. It believed humanity was worth protecting. He looked at the battlefield outside. Now we show it that it was right. The human fleet changed formation. Instead of attacking, the ships moved around the ancient beast. They created a shield. A human shield. The creature looked back at them. For thousands of years, it had guarded others. But this was the first time someone guarded it. The energy around the beast changed. The glowing symbols across its body became brighter than ever before. A final memory entered Ethan's mind. The ancient civilization of Vera 9 had not created the Guardian to fight forever. They created it to find someone who would continue their hope. Someone who would stand together instead of fighting alone. The beast had finally found that someone. Humanity. The Guardian opened its massive wings. A wave of energy spread across space. The enemy structure stopped. For the first time, it showed fear. The ancient voice returned. Guardian energy increasing. Unknown species connection detected. Impossible outcome. Ethan smiled. The enemy had calculated every possibility, every strategy, every weapon. But it did not understand one thing. Humans were not powerful because they were the oldest. They were not powerful because they had the greatest technology. They were powerful because they protected what they cared about. The beast released one final roar. Human ships fired at the same time. The combined energy created a wave brighter than a star. It struck the enemy structure. Cracks appeared across its black surface. The impossible happened. The ancient enemy began breaking apart. The darkness that had destroyed civilizations for thousands of years finally disappeared. Silence returned to space. The battle was over. The human fleet survived. And the ancient Guardian remained. Weeks later, the story of Vera 9 spread across the galaxy. Alien civilizations that once ignored humanity began watching them differently. They no longer saw humans as a young and inexperienced species. They saw them as the species that earned the loyalty of a creature older than history itself. Ethan returned to Vera 9 with the ancient beast beside him. The creature chose to remain there, protecting the planet that had once been its home. But it was never alone again. Human explorers visited. Scientists studied. And the Guardian watched over them all. 1,000 years ago, an ancient civilization made one final promise. They promised that their Guardian would return when the galaxy needed it most. They never expected that the one standing beside it would be humanity, the youngest species among the stars. The species that proved the greatest power in the universe was not strength, not technology, not age. It was